The protagonist of this tale is a young girl named Kaede Hanjo, who invests all of her points in defense stats and experiences exponential growth. It all starts one day when her friend, a professional gamer named Risa, practically coerces her into playing a well-known and highly regarded MMORPG game called New World Online. Kaede Hanjo gives in and agrees to check out the game, but because Risa is preoccupied with her studies, she will have to explore the world of virtual reality gaming alone. Keep in mind that she has absolutely no prior gaming experience, which makes her approach extra cautious. Kaede selects Maple as her username once she is in the game, and from this point forward we will refer to her by that name. Her friend Risa, whose username is Sally, outsame. However, when it comes to allocating her skill points, Maple begins by outfitting herself with a shield-wielding avatar. Because she doesn't know any better and is attempting to be cautious, Maple decides to allocate all of her skill points to defense. In other words, everything. Her speed and offensive strength were obviously reduced as a result, but that is hardly significant given the Matthew effect, which is essentially the effect of accumulated advantage. Anyway, because she moves so slowly for a cute creature, random cute monsters decide to attack her. The first time it occurs, Maple simply stands there for an hour while being attacked without suffering any harm, until the adorable bunny monster is nearly worn out and dies. She gains more new defense-related abilities as a result of doing this, which also increases her stats, as well as skill points, which she also keeps putting into her defense, such as poison resistance. By this time, it is abundantly clear that Maple evolved into a defense monster. She literally does nothing but sleep while roaming monsters attack and eventually pass out from exhaustion, allowing her to level up while she sleeps. Later, she encounters Koromo, another shield user. She is excited when she sees his shield and wonders where she can find upgrades for her weapons. Koromo leads her to a stunning craftsperson. But because great things cost money, and Maple doesn't have much, she is instructed to visit a particular dungeon for exploration. When Koromu gives Maple some helpful potions, she literally decides to follow the advice. Simply that she enters a dungeon and runs into a formidable three-headed poison dragon. The dragon was able to melt her shield and armor and even slightly injure her, but by using those potions repeatedly and tanking that poison, Maple was able to transform her poison resistance into poison immunity. From that point on, she essentially bites the dragon into submission because, based on the damage the dragon sustained, her teeth were more effective than her fists. After slaying the enormous poison dragon, Maple gains a lot of experience points and gains access to a special armor and shield. But this is just the beginning of her legendary defense. After that, she participates in a battle royale competition, where, as the name suggests, only the strongest survive. Thousands of players decided to attack Maple because they thought she was an easy target, but she stood her ground and let them kill themselves by getting in closer to her shield. She defeated 2,000 players in total. Maple, despite being a complete novice, Maple uses a few new skills and places third. At school, Maple updates her gaming friend Sally on her remarkable development. Sally was impressed and suggests that Maple's defense and her evasion specialization work together to further enhance each other's abilities. Together with Maple, she starts the game, and they go on a quick expedition into a cave to gather some useful materials for a new shield. Eventually, Sally finds an underwater cave, and this is where Sally receives her upgrades. The two frequent the cave, which was tucked away behind a locked door, to store up some valuable items. And this also helped her greatly improve her underwater abilities, which she used to defeat the cave boss. Sally was able to get her own unique equipment, just like Maple. Then, as Maple and Sally are getting some well-deserved rest at a cafe, two players by the names of Dread and Drag inform them of the second event. They may appear to be minor characters, but one of them finished second in the battle royale, behind Maple who came in third. He was certainly taken aback by Maple's ability to finish third as a novice. Maple and Sally go on a quick forested quest after this encounter. Soon after entering an abandoned haunted location, Sally feels a little uneasy due to all the ghosts and such, but after avoiding those ghosts, the two come across a helpless man bound to a chair and allow him to finally enter the afterlife. Then they discover a magnificent hidden beach and take in a stunning sunset. The following day, they battle a deer monster that apparently managed to knock Maple out, but Sally manages to kill the deer. The result of this is that Maple receives a new shield called Snow White. This shield had been created at Maple's request by that lovely craftsperson named Iz. As usual, they enjoy a nice meal together before Sally drives Maple to yet another competition. This event essentially involves field exploration with your party. You earn points by raiding dungeons, gathering loot from chests, uncovering secret locations, and even engaging in combat with other players. Yes, it resembles a genuine treasure hunt. 300 silver medals and 10 gold medals are the prize. When Maple and Sally take on this challenge, they immediately discover and raid a secret dungeon, earning multiple medals. When they reach the mountains, they run into Koromu and his group. Normally, this would have led to a PvP battle, but since Maple doesn't want to fight Koromu, both parties decide to go their separate ways. They soon encounter Silverwing, a threatening iceberg boss. If you've seen Pokémon, you'll recognize this bird boss because it resembles Articuno. The bird lives up to its reputation by defeating even Maple's defenses. Silverwing was only just defeated by Maple and Sally, thanks to their cooperation and advancement past their starting levels. Although it was close, Maple's defenses were able to become even stronger as a result of surviving. In addition to finding a few adorable monster eggs in the bird's Boston, they receive numerous medals and crafting materials for their efforts. They tend to the eggs until they hatch into two adorable companions, one that looks like a turtle and the other that looks like a fox. They are given the names Syrup and Obero. But after that, the girls come across a player who wants to challenge them for the first time. The swordsman is called Kasumi. Sally struggles with Kasumi as Maple's speed restrains her, but the fight ends abruptly when they are sucked into a dungeon below ground. In addition, a curse is placed on them and their lives are intertwined. There are some ridiculously unbeatable snail monsters that they can't help but try to avoid and run away from because if either one of them dies, all three of them will perish. However, by banding together, they are able to escape the dungeon unscathed. Of course, the rewards are also distributed equally. After this, three of them encounter Kanade, another intriguing player. He tells them about an underwater squid boss, Maple, who technically kills the boss by poisoning the entire sea but trolls everyone in the process. However, the game's administrators are shocked. The boss is less of a boss than Maple. Up until the event's conclusion, Sally and Maple participate in a few more player versus player battles in order to earn more medals. They have both developed significantly. Using one of the skills she acquired at the event, Maple even turns Syrup into a mobile fortress. And now that Syrup can fly, transportation is incredibly simple. Maple and Sally have the right to their very own guild house as a result of how well they performed in the event. They find it in the forest and give it the name Maple Tree. To advance in the game, they also enlist the aid of deserving allies like Kasumi, Kanade, and Koromu. Of course, they also cooperate to complete quests. However, they still require additional members for a forthcoming event. Here are two adorable players by the names of Yui and Mei. They had made the decision to allocate all of their stat points to their strength stats, which was the opposite of what Maple did. They collaborated with Maple to obtain new skills by dungeon raiding. It's a great combination to have a player with an unbelievable defense, two ridiculously powerful newcomers, and so on. The other members also advance and gain power in their own right. Koromo even succeeds in conquering a secret dungeon and gains a fresh set of tools. All of the guild members at Maple Tree were getting stronger. Later, Maple meets a mother who is frantically looking for a treatment for her daughter. She assists them in obtaining the medication by taking down monsters, and as a result, she gains the skill of loving sacrifice. This makes it possible to strengthen their guild's defenses. As a result of being able to practically share her defense with her guildmates, Maple also receives a new piece of armor made by Iz. Maple appears angelic when she employs this talent. The sudden influx of Maple Tree was noticed by the other guilds. Soon enough, the third event will take place. It will involve cows, and the guilds will have to defeat cow mobs and gather cowbells. The more cowbells you gather, the better the rewards and rank for the guild as well as the player. Additionally, players who wear wool clothing have an advantage because the cows are more likely to drop cowbells when they are defeated. When the event starts, Maple runs into a boss in a church she is familiar with. When she first learned the loving sacrifice skill, when she is swallowed by this boss, things start to go a little awry, but since it's Maple, she just starts eating the boss from the inside and defeats it. This success unlocks new skills like the Oozing Chaos ability, which allows her to transform into a huge monster, showing that she is really starting to become a boss. The guild members then advance to level 3. Maple ends up being isolated from the others and in the Dream Cemetery. She encounters Boss Monster directly. The boss attacks and goes berserk, but Maple uses her recently discovered Machine God skill to defeat it. The cow hunting competition is over, and the Maple Tree Guild isn't even among the top 10. However, they still receive the stuffed cow head as compensation for their efforts, which is the best prize a guild could have won in this situation. Even though the third event was strange, it also served as a kind of precursor to what was to come. We're referring to the fourth competition, which is essentially a face-off between the most illustrious guilds. Remember the Battle Royal where Maple placed third. The guild that placed first in the third event, called Order of the Holy Swords, has the players who place first and second in that Battle Royale. We already know about Dread, who came in second, but there's also Pain, the legendary guild's master, and the esteemed game's top player. The Kingdom of the Flame Emperor, a guild led by its guild master, me, finished in the top 10 in the Battle Royale in which it placed second in the previous competition. Even though Mapletree may not have performed well in the third event, they already par with these two guilds in terms of popularity and prestige. Anyhow, a young woman by the name of Frederica from the Order of the Holy Sword arrives to scout at Maple Tree. Sally challenges her to a duel and, using deception, forces her to concede. It appears that the skills she was employing were fake. Frederica admits defeat and divulges some details about the Guild of the Flame Emperor. The guild competition officially starts, and the guild that collects the most orbs in the allotted 5 game days wins. The other guilds were competing for attention, but everyone was more or less aware that the Order of the Holy Swords, the Kingdom of the Flame Emperor, and, of course, the Maple Tree Guild would be the final 3 guilds standing. I won't bore you with the full list of rules, but let's just say they are quite complicated. The players must abide by a number of them, including a points-based system and a 5 death penalty for each guild. The Maple Tree Guild strengthens their base regardless of how the competition starts. Koromo and the others begin setting up ambushes in case any guild-based attackers try to steal their orbs, while Kanade and Sally went in search of more orbs. In order to take care of the last line of defense, Maple, Yui, and Mei remain at the base. Things quickly turn raucous, as a large number of small guilds are instantly destroyed by the 5 death penalty. Sally, however, uses her extraordinary IQ to turn them against one another. The Maple Tree Guild was starting to emerge strongly from the beginning, as she takes pleasure in the spoils of war. But then Sally is quickly surrounded by their forces after Frederica ambushes her. While going to Sally's aid, Maple leaves the base in the care of Mei and Yui. They had no idea that this was all a part of their strategy because once Maple leaves the base, Dread from Order of the Holy Sword launched an attack. Though it was difficult, he succeeds in defeating Yui and Mei. Maple had already returned, however, and she used the chaotic strength of her monster form to deal some significant damage to their forces, so he was unable to obtain any of the orbs. Sally is resting at the base because her health is in critical condition. Maple, Yui, and Mei, however, decide to launch a full-scale attack on the nearby guilds. They raid guild after guild while Maple is in her monster form, terrorizing the members and substantially increasing the amount of orbs they have overall. I don't know about you, but if a world boss just showed up at my door, that would be pretty terrifying. Some players wonder if there was a glitch or error that allowed this ravaging monster to go berserk because it happened so abruptly and chaotically. No, it's just Maple, our main character. They opt to destroy everyone else rather than staying behind to defend their guild, so that no other guild can use them to gain points. Players were dropping dead left and right was increasing rapidly. Similar tactics were being used by the Kingdom of Flame Emperor, which was eliminating guilds left and right. Then Maple, Mei, and Yui conduct an aggressive raid on the Kingdom of the Flame Emperor, evading all of their traps, until there is a direct confrontation between them and the Guildmaster Mei and 2 other powerful players, Marcus and Misery. Mei and her fellow team members launch a barrage of assaults in an effort to move Maple out of the line of fire. As a result, Mei has the chance to use her talent to imprison Maple in a prison of flames that continuously harms Maple. However, Maple defeats both Marcus and Misery using her abilities as a machine god. Mei tries to defeat Maple with a self-destruct spell but also fails. Almost all of the other guilds have been destroyed by this point. And the final confrontation, in which Pain, Dread, Frederica, and Drag all face Maple, is all that is left. In an epic battle, Pain nearly defeats Maple and deals her a ton of serious damage. But just as she was about to lose all of her health, she makes a U-turn and deals Pain the damage he caused to her. Pain wasn't a top player by accident. He is still able to resist this counter, but when Maple transforms into her atrocity form, she easily overpowers all holy swords. Even though it was only the 3rd day, the event was already moving towards its conclusion. Sally and Kanade used their own damage skills, while Maple used her atrocity form. And the few remaining guilds are eliminated as well. Flame Emperor imitates this. Due to the fact that all of their guilds were already destroyed, the event ends on the 3rd day. The Holy Swords are ranked first, the Flame Emperors are ranked second, and the Maple Tree is ranked third. Once again, Maple was at the center of attention when the rankings were revealed. A monster or anomaly, the Maple Tree Guild was by far the strongest if aggression and strength were the only factors considered. Of course, the most orbs determined the winner. They had fewer orbs than Holy Swords and Flame Emperors because the Maple Tree had been destroying other guilds along with their orbs. The administrators are angry with Maple because she shamelessly destroyed everyone else in the game instead of pursuing the orbs, which were the main objective, and because her antics cut the time down to just 3 days. But they choose to leave her alone. In the end, her reputation is drawing more players to the game. Following this event, there is a nice, healthy party to which Maple also extends an invitation to the members of the Order of the Holy Swords and the Kingdom of Flame Emperor. Despite being a noob, they watched the event's highlights and noticed that Maple was causing havoc everywhere. She became an expert at casually teasing other players, including the game administrators. And the story ends here. I'll be uploading many more videos similar to this one, so if you liked what you saw, please subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.